I'm here in the heart of the Sintra Hills. It's a wonderful place, peaceful, quiet, except for the motorcycles down in the valley. And I'm at one of the highest points in these hills, right underneath the geodesic marker for the Pico de Monge, or the Peak of the Monk. And why am I here? Because right underneath this, at the very top of this hill, is a prehistoric tomb. Let's explore it.
The Tholos de Monge is in the Lisbon Peninsula, in the Serra de Sintra, or the Sintra Mountains. It's at the peak of Monge, one of the mountains in the center of the Sintra Park. Monge, which means monk, is the third highest mountain in the Serra de Sintra, with excellent views out over to the sea and to the other mountains in the park, including the highest ones, which currently have the Palace of Pena at the top. There are hiking trails throughout the Sintra Mountains. Not all of them are as wide and flat as this, but this is the trail that leads up to the peak of Monge. Monge is a central peak in the Sintra Park. These purple trails, there's several of them leading up to the peak of Monge. Perhaps the easiest approach is from this red road that goes out to the Penina Peak. From there, there's a fairly flat path along this way that goes up to the peak. All the trails are well signposted. At the final approach to the top of Monge, you'll see a wide clearing at the end, and you'll know you've reached your destination when you see the large spire in the center of it, which in this clip you can see at the far end, which is the geodesic marker of the peak of Monge. In the clearing, there'll be some signposts there, which will show you that you have reached the trail and that you are at the Tholos de Monge. Moving around behind the geodesic marker, you'll see a jumble of large stones scattered about in a clearing. And as you approach, you can see that there definitely is a structure to it, which is circular, made up of slabs of granite.
This is called a tholos, or in Portuguese we pronounce it tolos, because it's not like an anta or a dolmen made up of upright stones, but you can see it's made of granite blocks, forming a circular chamber, and it has a false dome made of large stones coming up to a peak. You can see some of the stones here. There's a few left from the ceiling. Besides this chamber, there's a corridor here and then an atrium that lets out.
From eye level, you can't really see a lot of the structure, but if you get up in the air, you can easily see the chamber and the corridor and the atrium, which is still a bit of a jumble of stones. This site was first drawn to archaeological attention in the 1890s by Carlos Ribeiro, but it was known beforehand. In the 1500s, a convent of Capuchin monks was established just below the peak of this hill, and that's why the mountain of Monge gets its name of monk. Since the 1800s, there have been a few archaeological excavations done and some studies and some attempts to preserve it. The site was approved to be classified as a national monument as recently as 1996, but it hasn't happened yet.
Most recently, it was excavated in 2021 by archaeologists funded by the Town Council of Sintra. You can see some of the evidence of their work here to try to rehabilitate the monument. The Tolos opens out in a direction of about south-southeast, and the view from here is phenomenal, down to the coast in what is now Cascais, and across to the Setúbal Peninsula and the Arrábida coast. It's hard to see and really appreciate the view because of all these trees. But when this Tolos was constructed 4,000 years ago, the vegetation was very different, and it wouldn't have been covered with tree canopy like this. And so the opening here, looking out to the ocean and to the coast beyond, would have been very visible and part of the construction. You can get some idea of what the view is like from old photographs. This one's from 1986, from a book that's no longer in print. But nowadays, to see past the trees and get a feel for what it was like when this was built 4,000 years ago, you need to fly a drone up above the trees. It makes you wonder when you see this vista. What were people thinking when they built this Tolos here at the top of the mountain? Was it just for funerals, or did it have some other purpose? As you look out to the Setúbal Peninsula and the other peaks of the Sintra Mountains, you just have to wonder. We may never know exactly why they placed it right here. As you can see, there's been some archaeological work done on it, but it hasn't been restored into anything like its original state. It's still in a wonderful place here at this third highest mountain in the Sintra Hills, and it's well worth a visit and exploring this 4,000-year-old prehistoric construction.
If you want to know more about the Tolos de Monge, check out the link in the description below. My website, prehistoricportugal.com, has lots of information about prehistoric sites all around the country. I hope you found the video interesting and entertaining. Please do like and subscribe. I'm going to be creating videos about all kinds of prehistoric aspects of Portugal, megalithic and otherwise. Thanks for watching.